Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Here on this show, we spend 1 week highlighting an up-and-coming North American player. Throughout the week, we find out more about the player's history, their personality, and their playstyle over the course of 6 short episodes. On Monday, we'll interview the player and find out more about them. Tuesday through Thursday, we'll watch a game from each of the various matchups casted by your very own Fear Dragon. On Friday, we'll check out a generally awesome game with some sick play, and on Saturday, we'll kick it back with the player and have some wacky fun with some randomly selected events like handicap ladder matches, karaoke, and dance contests. Each episode aims to be about 20 to 30 minutes long, so you can learn more about the North American StarCraft 2 scene without interrupting your busy WCS schedule. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fear Dragon, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players that you need to know about. I'm joined here today with Shadow. How you doing today, Shadow?
I'm doing great, Fear Dragon. How are you?
I am pretty good because, you know what, we're having our first Terran on the show of Breaking Out, so, let's not delay this any longer. Let's go ahead and jump in, introduce the players, and we can talk a little bit about the show as we spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Akalon Waste. On top of the Core Gaming player is going to be the Terran player, and the highlight player of the week, it is Core Gaming's Sonic.
And spawning in the top left corner, playing Zerg from Team Demos, it is Toon.
And, for those of you tuning in for the first time, this is, again, Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players who we kind of spend 1 week highlighting, and this week we're getting to know Core Gaming Sonic, so we're going to be going over each one of his matchups, and today is the Terran versus Zerg matchup. And I'll talk a little bit about what he said in his interview yesterday, but, Shadow, tell me what exactly is going on in this matchup these days?
Well, actually, this is kind of interesting. He's doing a 1 Rax. Maybe FE, that's nice. That's good to see that with Reaper. Yeah. And that's basically what has been the meta lately is Reaper scouting. And then moving into Hellions and finally doing the big heavy Marine push at about 11 or so minutes.
Is that also the reason why Zerg players such as Toon have been going for things like spawning pool first instead of immediately going for that hatchery first as they so often used to?
Yeah, and also it's much easier to punish a command center first if your pool's down already.
Oh, that definitely makes a lot of sense. And not going to get that opportunity, but hey man, it's always a possibility. And if you can get those kind of free wins, why not take them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, actually Sonic kind of talked about his thoughts on the matchup right now. He says that even though he believes that the best way to play Terran is sort of that Pult style, you go for that really, really solid ability to take really good engagements. As if you've ever watched Pult, you'll see his units lost tab is always in favor of him, no matter what. He could be like dead out, you could be calling him dead and completely out of the game, but he will still have a better side of the units lost tab. But, kind of weirdly enough, Sonic doesn't play that way, even though he feels like that's the best way to play. He decides that, I like going for a lot of 2-base timing attacks, 3-base timing attacks, even mixing in aggressive units like Banshees for harassment. So where do you think that kind of fits into the matchup, Shadow?
Well, part of that might be just frustration in dealing with some of the all-ins that have come out of Zerg lately. The Roach timings and the Baneling timings that are a direct answer to the command center first plays.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility, and we're going to see this Reaper kind of poking around, see what it can see, and it does see the natural expansion, and based on the time, he's probably going to see, oh, okay, this is probably a spawning pool first, so you're going to have to be a little bit careful, because those organs are going to be coming out very, very soon.
Indeed, they are, and already we see the factory going down, so we're probably going to have Hellions pretty soon, poking around, lighting Zerglings up when they can.
Yeah, Command Center has also been thrown down, and actually those 4 Zerglings are already over at the natural expansion of Sonic right now, and they're going to be doing a little bit of harassment, but actually this Reaper, very low in health, but it managed to pick off every single one of those Zerglings before they really managed to do a whole lot of damage. So, Reaper's doing pretty well for themselves, but they're kind of weirdly not on the map.
Yeah, they aren't really out there scouting, but they don't have to because they've seen what they need to see, and that is, okay, you made a few Zerglings and you ran them across the map. You're not committed to any type of serious attack, so they still done what they needed to.
Yeah, I think that he will probably be happy with that, as you're saying then. But, you know, we do have a third command center being thrown down by Sonic, so that 3-base play that a lot of Terran players have been going for, very, very strong. Now, what are the kind of things that when you're going for 3CC this fast, you have to be careful of that a Zerg player can do?
Well, you really need to keep an eye out for those roach timings, and it's important that you scout them in time to get up preparations for them. It's very important also that you keep your Reapers alive, because if they don't do the timing and they go heavy Zergling, you're going to want those Reapers to fight along with your Hellions and actually be able to push in to Zerg's base a little bit, because the Hellions alone are not enough to really threaten the Queens.
Yeah, and actually speaking of those roach timings, could we be seeing one coming out very soon from Tune? I mean, we have 3 gases being thrown down, which is 1 extra gas than I normally end up seeing.
It's a possibility. We'll have to see. Because it's getting it's getting just a little bit late already for a true roach timing to be hitting.
Yeah, Overlord going to be coming in, scouting out everything. He actually did see the third command center a little while ago, and actually he's going to see another barracks coming down on this reactor, barracks with a tech lab, so he's going to be thinking, okay, don't have to deal with anything super duper crazy, not going to be up against mech play or anything, but is he going to be prepared for these Hellions moving across the map?
And it looks like, yep, the Evo chambers are going down now, so he's doing the standard Zerg response. Get the Queens out there, get Evo chambers to kind of wall off. You're gonna lose a few of those creep tumors. You can't be stopped.
Can't say everything.
Yeah, of course not. But as long as you can basically hold your drones and not let the Hellions get in there and just blast everything, then it's still okay. Zerg is doing just fine.
Yeah, and honestly, I really like the position that Sonic has in shutting down these creep tumors. He's going to take a little bit of damage from those Queens, has to back up a little bit. But I mean, without the creep being able to get down this ramp, it's going to be impossible to ever connect that third expansion. If actually he tries to deny that 1 creep tumor, could end up working out really well, but no. Gonna have to scan if he wants to take that out now. Oh.
Yeah, ooh. Now, that's kind of a mistake to let those Hellions in.
Yeah, I mean, they really did pull the Queens out of position as they were trying to get those creep tumors down, and now actually these Hellions could do a lot of roasting on those drones. Those drones are so clumped up right now. A lot of Queens coming back to defend, but the Hellions getting some decent shots off. Not quite getting the killing blows just yet, though. Oof.
No, he managed to take out 7 workers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of worth it. This isn't usually how this goes down.
Oh my god, that Reaper picking up 1 last kill, definitely reaping the benefits of that investment. And, I mean, would you say that losing all those units definitely worth the trade for those drones?
I guess a little bit. I mean, that's really, like I just said, it's not supposed to be how it really goes down. Normally what happens is you isolate a few of the Queens, and you get into this back and forth where you're able to pick off a Queen or so with all the Hellions and the Reapers. You don't usually get all the Hellions in and then suicide them into the mineral line like that.
Yeah, a little bit weird. And, you know, we have Tune making a lot of roaches. Like, a lot of roaches, actually, right now. But he's getting +1 melee attacks. So, is this just some sort of, like, weird timing he's going to hit with +1 Carapace but be transitioning out into Mutiling? Or do you have any idea what's going on here?
Well, some of the roaches were definitely in response to the Hellions. Without a doubt. Now, at this point, to make this many roaches that he's doing right now and go into melee doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. That's kind of a mismatch.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if the melee attack is a mistake or something, if you just picked the wrong upgrade on accident. But, you know, with all these roaches coming out, he's moving across the map, and we'll have to see how well he can defend, because right now, I mean, Sonic lost a lot of his units doing that aggression. He has a handful of Marines and Marauders available, and even a couple of Widow Mines, but, oh man, this is going to be a rough hold.
I don't know. I mean, they're just roaches at the end of the day. They're just roaches.
Well, Bunker does go down, and those roaches going to have to be dealt with. SCV is actually getting pulled off the liner, and there are a lot of roaches right now, Shadow. I don't know. There are a couple Marauders mixed in, but these roaches are doing a substantial amount of damage, even taking out a lot of those SCVs.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're doing some damage, but it'd be interesting to see if this actually leads to a game, and I don't think it will. Roaches alone are not enough to beat down a stimmed army.
Oh, definitely not. I think that eventually this should get cleaned up. I mean, eventually Sonic should be able to get enough units to actually defend against this, but right now, these roaches are taking out supply depots, they're taking off more and more of this army. Widowmines are going to be coming in, but Widowmines not exactly the most ideal engagement units, and even the third has been completely shut down right now. So, I mean, Tune has done a substantial amount of damage. The question is, has he done too much damage by this point?
Well, one would say yes, but they're both kind of playing recklessly a little bit. So I would still say that Sonic is not out of the game simply by the way that both players are playing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of those roaches now do have to retreat, but I mean, he's just continuously being aggressive. Even going to lose a couple more of these roaches. No, doesn't actually end up losing too many. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Sonic's sitting at 30 SCVs, and we actually just saw a huge droning over there from Tune as he goes up to 61, literally doubling his opponent.
I mean, he's just now getting Zergling speed in his Baneling Nest. If he had those Baneling Nests, or the Baneling Nest and speed, when this attack hit, this would have been a totally different situation. But really, he has no follow-up right now, which is going to give Sonic enough time to kind of regroup a little bit.
Yeah, I almost actually even feel like Tune may have been able to do even more damage if he had actually researched +1 missile attacks instead of the melee attack. But it looks like he's continuing with the melee attacks and continue to build roaches. This is so weird.
Yeah, this is not normal. This is not a harmonious build. This is kind of a zany build.
If that wasn't enough, he's also throwing down a Hydralistem. This is so zany, but Sonic is moving across the map with 3 medevacs and a handful of bio units, and this is that aggression that we heard about before. Double medevac drop going over the fourth expansion, going straight over into the main base. He actually could snipe off a handful of drones over here.
Yeah, that's a bit too many roaches to take on, but another... Oh, wow, there's a drop going on in the main.
Yeah, drop going on in the main, and now he picks up the drop at the third expansion, brings it over to the natural expansion. He is actually just picking his opponent apart right now. A lot of the drones over in the main base is actually going to be falling right now. This is actually a substantial amount of damage, so even though he's lost a lot to those roach aggression earlier on, I mean, he's doing some counter aggression of his own that's working out pretty well.
Yeah.
He takes out the hatchery over in the main base. He does eat a big Baneling hit over at the third expansion before he actually managed to pick up the majority of those units, but I mean, he's done a substantial amount of damage over here. He's already evened up that work count substantially.
Oh yeah, he's way ahead now at this point. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
And
I don't understand why there were so many roaches and so few Zerglings. You know, if he had Zergling speed, he had melee attack. You know, why didn't you make Zerglings?
Yeah, a really, really weird decision from Tune, but I have to hand it to Sonic. I mean, he was dropping in like 3 places at once, and when you have those roaches, and even not, I think like a very small number of Hydros, it can be difficult to split them up appropriately across all of your bases. It's very easy to get into that 1A mode, but these 2 medevacs should end up falling to the Hydros. No, the Hydros decide to let one live. He's gonna send a message to the Terran base, say, he's basically the messenger. You know, you let everyone die except for one person. Except he doesn't know there's 4 Marines in that too.
Yeah, except everybody else is like, oh, maybe now we should go kick their ass. As the Terran moves out with a huge army.
And the medevac's going to be coming back. Yeah, I think this is exactly it. This is now Alpha Squadron Strike Force 7 as they come in with 4 Marines. It's like, let's get revenge for our buddies.
Yeah. And at this point, this is going to be extremely successful. There's not enough Banelings being made. Oh, well, there we go. Oh, there are. But
yeah, but they're going to be so vulnerable as they're not done yet, and all the Widowmines are actually encroaching up. They're burrowing right now. How big are the hits going to be? I mean,
where's the Overseer? Where's the Overseer here to deal with these Widowmines?
Oh my God! There's actually no Overseer, not even one out on the map right now. He has to start morphing one in if he's gonna get one eventually. And I mean, those Widowmines are gonna be taking off the cooldown soon, and that could really change the engagement. Oh, that's painful. Big Widowmine shot off, going and killing a lot of those Banelings. Only a handful of Banelings actually left. And now the Widowmine's going to have their energy back, or their shots back, although a lot of them actually using it up on that Queen. Nice little play from Tune, but oh man, he just cannot engage this army until he gets out the Overseer.
Yeah, this is honestly kind of a silly situation. I mean, props to Sonic for taking it back with basically a triple attack, 2 drops, and a push.
Yeah, but you know, Widowmines are burrowed, and now we're gonna see the big engagement. A nice splitting up going from Sonic as He's going to have to retreat back, but with all the Widow Mines taken out, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but oh my god, he just has way too many units. GG, well played gets called, and Core Gaming Sonic taking this Terran versus Zerg.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, you were saying something about how Tune kind of misplayed a couple portions of that, and I have to agree with you, man. I mean, it's really weird to look at this now as we see +1 missile attacks as it gets taken out. Researching at the very end, but
yeah, I mean his tech choices were not in line with his army choices.
Mm-hmm.
If he had had a large swarm of Zerglings, he could have split them up and dealt with the drops much more effectively than running the roaches around.
Yeah,
not to mention, if he had had that Baneling nest up earlier and followed up with a Baneling hit after the roaches pushed in. I mean, he had a huge opening that he created with those roaches, but he had no Baneling follow-up. Mm-hmm. And you cannot win with roaches against Stim Marines. I'm sorry, it's just so cost inefficient. You have to follow up with Banelings.
Yeah, and I could not agree more, man. It's very, very difficult. But, you know, all that aside, of course, Core Gaming Sonic did play this out very, very well. I mean, even if you are up against an opponent who's kind of doing those kind of weird tech path choices, it does take a lot of attention and, you know, a lot of ability to be aggressive, to do those kind of drops over in the main base, over in the third base, picking up the third base drop and bringing it over to the natural expansion, dropping the fourth expansion. I mean, he just was really, really awesome with the drops. So I have to hand it to him, man. He did pretty well with that.
Indeed.
But yeah, with that being said, guys, please consider following Core Gaming Sonic over on Twitter, over on twitch.tv, for when he does decide to stream. Now, he is what I like to call almost like a natural StarCraft. He doesn't actually play all that much, according to what he says. He kind of doesn't really practice as much. He just kind of watches a lot of StarCraft, plays it, and just somehow beats really, really good players. But if you do,
Stefano.
Exactly right. He is like an American Stefano, but with Terran instead of Zerg. But you know, guys, if you do want to catch him on the rare occasion that he is streaming, go ahead and follow him over on all the links posted in the Twitch chat or just below the YouTube video, depending on which one you're watching this on. But hey, Shadow, where can people catch you at?
Well, you could follow me at facebook.com/Tampa Esports, or on Twitter, it's at RMDeluca, DELUCA.
And guys, if you enjoyed this series, please consider also following the channel, twitch.tv/FearDragon64 for the live broadcast happening at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. And also consider following the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/FearDragon64, where all the VODs are actually made available pretty much immediately after the broadcast. But guys, please be sure to tune in tomorrow. There's going to be an enormously big announcement coming up tomorrow. I think you guys should be as excited as I am about it. I'm actually itching to announce it, but I'm going to wait one more day as I get everything settled out. But guys, please, please, please tune in if you can. 8:30 p.m.
You'd be stupid not to.
You would be very stupid not to. 8:30 p.m. Pacific, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't actually know European Standard Time or like any of those other kind of things, or Korean Standard Time, but guys, please be sure to tune in for that at twitch.tv/FearDragon64 tomorrow. But with that being said, hope to see you all tomorrow, and have a wonderful night, guys. Take care.